Kondo has basically quit decluttering now that she has 3 kids. She has just come right out and said, ain't nobody got time for that. And I has thoughts, feelings, opinions on the matter, some of which will be controversial. Let's go. Hi guys, it's Laura and I help you live a simpler, happier, more spacious life. And yes, it is true, the queen of tidying has abdicated the throne, or actually more accurately, she has been pushed out of power by her kids. I feel like somewhere Shakespeare is saying, that was my idea first. Anyway, the admission has caused some outrage because there have been people who have been tidying and decluttering all along with 3 or more kids in tow, or maybe, you know, elderly parents that they're looking after, and they feel that they have been sold this dream that has turned out to be a lie. Essentially, the talker of the talk is no longer walking the walk. Here's the thing, and this is probably the most controversial thing that I will say in this video, but we want the lie. We want something to aspire towards. We want to be inspired by something. Yes, there is definitely a place for relatable content, but there is a reason why beautiful homes feature so heavily in our social feeds and, you know, on the covers of our magazines. And it's because they outperform, for the most part, like messy rooms. We have to remember that we influence a huge amount of what we see. Like, algorithms are neutral. You know, they will show us something that they think that we want to see, but if we show absolutely no interest in that thing, they will move on and show us something else. And yes, companies have a huge responsibility in terms of what they are showing us and what they are selling us, but ultimately we dictate the market, we dictate the social feeds, and we do that by what we are interacting with, what we're engaging with, what we are clicking on. And that might be for a positive reason because it makes you feel good, or it might be for a negative reason because it enrages you or something. We keep seeing those things in our feed that we keep interacting with. Again, the algorithm itself, it's neutral. It is on us to decide, 1, what we see, and 2, what we are going to do about the things that we do see. I think we all understand on some level that what we see online is not really an accurate reflection of reality. It's a curated picture of something. So to act with kind of outrage or even surprise at this stage that what we see online is not fully representative of how things actually are, is kind of naivety. Plus, you have to remember that previously she did not have 3 kids. Like, this is a recently new development for her. She is in a new chapter of her life and she is adapting and adjusting as best she can, like any of us would. She's doing her best. You know, she was in a different chapter of her life when she had the scope and the bandwidth, you know, maybe to keep things tidy, to maintain a certain level, but that's just not the season of life she's in anymore. But yes, she started that way. She built a business around that. That is what her brand is built on. Now, I'm not saying I'm anything like Marie Kondo, but I do think it's helpful to make the distinction between Marie Kondo, the brand, and Marie Kondo, the person. Marie Kondo, the brand, or KonMari as she goes by, is her business. And whether we like it or not, businesses are designed to sell. They're there to make money, and they do that by selling us a vision, you know, an image, this kind of picture of a better life. Coca-Cola does it, Apple does it. The only difference is that Marie Kondo is, like me, the face of her business, so people make a connection with her. But again, we are making a connection with something that isn't entirely real. I'm not saying Marie Kondo is fake in any way, but we are only seeing a teeny tiny part of her online. You know, that is the brand Marie Kondo, that is the business Marie Kondo, and then we are extrapolating from that teeny tiny bit into all of the other parts of her life. We're assuming that what we see online is an accurate reflection of her entire life. We're making assumptions about the rest of her life, and we all do it. Like, we've done it with celebrities for decades now. You know, we assume that because they have money or bigger homes or whatever, that they are living these glamorous, carefree lives. But when you take away those external factors, they're still people just like us. You know, they still get sad sometimes, they still feel lonely sometimes, they still have their hearts broken. Like, if you prick them, do they not bleed? It's very easy to forget that those people are people just like us. And I've done this too. You know, we put people like Marie Kondo and like celebrities on these pedestals of perfection, and then we complain, or we're surprised, negatively so, like unpleasantly surprised, when they don't live up to those frankly unrealistic and unreasonable expectations. But the truth is that their personal selves don't always like reflect 100% their brand selves, and vice versa. So whereas Marie Kondo the brand is selling you an ideal, Marie Kondo the person, and commendably I think, is reminding you that it is in fact an ideal. A lot of us will say that we want more relatable content, and that's why it's so disheartening when someone like Marie Kondo comes out and says, you know, hey, I have 3 kids now, you know, maintaining an immaculately tidy home is just not a priority for me anymore, or I am struggling to do that in the season of life that I'm in. And then to see that she's faced with such a backlash. I guess the truth is that she's kind of damned if she does and damned if she doesn't, because she can sell you this kind of vision of a better life or a tidier home, a decluttered home, and there are plenty of people out there who will say like that is unrealistic, it is unattainable, unachievable, you know, who does she think she is, or you know, that whole ain't nobody got time for that mentality, or you know, she must not have anything better to do with her time. So yeah, but then on the other hand, when she comes out and says, hey, I actually do have other things to do with my time, and you know, I have 3 kids, and sometimes my house is not as tidy as I would like it to be, then you get this backlash from people saying that she has somehow shattered the illusion. But we all knew, or at least we should have known, that that illusion was never real in the first place. Look, Marie Kondo has never said this is the way you have to live your life, this is the way you have to declutter. She has never said, you know, you have to keep this item because it's brand new, or your great aunt gave it to you. Instead, what she said is, this is the way that you live and declutter under the KonMari method. It's kind of like if, you know, a chef came out and said, this is the way that I make my burgers. Like, here is the recipe for the way, like, my hamburger. Like, that chef is not saying you cannot eat another burger, or you cannot tweak this recipe to suit your own tastes and allergies and food sensitivities and so on. They're simply saying, this is my burger, this is how I make it. If you would like to make the same burger, here you go, follow these steps. What Marie Kondo is saying is like, here, I have found a system that works really well for me, it works really well for my clients, and it might also work for you, and here is exactly how you do it. We are fully free to take her recipe, you know, her advice, and that's all it is, with a huge grain of salt. Pun totally intended. She is simply showing us what is possible, you know, what we could achieve, or what we might like to achieve, you know, and how we might go about achieving that. But she's not saying you have to do it that way. She's not saying your home has to look this way or a certain way, or you're somehow a bad person or doing it wrong. She has always said from the beginning to do and keep What sparks joy for you? There is no one-size-fits-all strategy when it comes to living life, and that can be hard to accept. You know, I find it hard to accept because we all want to be told exactly what to do. Like, we want to know what are the steps that we should take. We all want the missing life manual that tells us exactly what to do. You know, follow these steps 1 through 10 and you will be happy, healthy, you will live in a beautiful, tidy, organized home, you will have loving, loyal relationships. We do not like it, and I definitely do not like it when we seek help and we seek advice and we're told, well, it depends. We want clear-cut answers. We want people like Marie Kondo to come in and tell us, you know, this is how to do things, and we don't like it when she decides to walk in and says, well, but the truth is that is reality, and she, like all of us, she's just a person. She is trying to balance a business life and a personal life, and she's doing the best that she can, just like all of us are doing the best that we can. And if you think about it, fundamentally, when you get like right down to it, even though she is in a different chapter of her life, even though her life has evolved, she is actually still doing the same thing that she has always done. She is seeking a life that sparks joy. And she is encouraging all of us to do the same in whatever way makes sense for us. And if you want to see an example of how I have modified the KonMari method to better suit my life, my lifestyle, then go ahead and check out this video. Until then, go raibh míle maith agam. Agus feici mé sibh se go luath. Slán!